Hello, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to my tutorial video. This is the exercise 1 requirements video for the conceptual data modeling assignment in Is439, and I'm recording this in the spring of 2022. Okay? What's exercise 1? Well, in the current semester, the instructions for this conceptual data modeling assignment there are two exercises. Exercise 1 is required, okay, and exercise 2 is the optional challenge exercise, okay. And what we're going to do in the overall assignment is we're going to create an entity relationship diagram that documents the requirements for the data in the Easy University application that we're going to be developing over the course of the semester. We call it EasyU for short. Okay. And if you do an exercise 1, you're documented just the normal functional requirements of EasyU. Okay. But not the requirements as they relate to authentication and authorization, like who can use the system, who has permission to log in, and what kind of things are they able to do. If you decide to do exercise 2, you'll just be adding on the requirements for authentication and authorization. So the question is, who's able to use the system and what are they able to do? Okay. So I'm doing a video for the requirements for exercise 1, in which I'm not going to talk about authentication and authorization, except to say it's not part of exercise 1, which I've already done. And then I'll do another one for exercise 2. Okay, so that's what we mean by exercise 1. Okay, so what do we mean by requirements, right? Well, data modeling, conceptual data modeling, is generally thought to be part of systems analysis. Now, I teach a whole course on systems analysis here at the iSchool, in which we do several parts of systems analysis, but one is conceptual data modeling. Okay. When we're in the conceptual data modeling process, you'll remember from a lecture for this unit that first of all, we want to involve the right participants in the process. And then second of all, we want to get the right inputs. Then we want to elicit requirements. Then we want to draw the conceptual data model. And then we're going to get into some sort of an iterative modeling process with the stakeholders and ourselves and the rest of the technical team, I guess. But where are we coming in here? Well, we're coming in here in that we have an existing system. Okay, because it just so happens I've already built the system. Okay, so we have something to look at. Now, is this a typical case? No. Okay. Well, what do you usually get when you do this activity? Well, it might be that nobody's restarted the analysis for this. And so you don't have anything to look at. It's all talking to people. Okay, you're going to find out who the stakeholders are, and you're going to go out and interview them, and you're going to find out what the system's about. Okay, and from that, you're probably going to do some kind of oh, where you're going to get into a conceptual data modeling process that might begin with what we call in this current unit a ragbag exercise. We might have a brainstorming session with the participants. But you take your information about what the requirements for the system are wherever you find them. And in this case, we have an existing system. And you can look at the data that's in the system. It's interesting. You can often learn a lot from the data that's in the system. Okay. Or you could look at the documentation. In our case, I'm just going to walk through the system and show you the parts. Okay. Now, normally, if you have an existing system, you also have other requirements like, well, we have an existing system, but it doesn't meet our needs because of X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not the case here. Okay. In my typical systems analysis course or my database design course, when we do this exercise, I give the students a case description in which it's kind of a summary of what you would find out if you went out and talked to the stakeholders. Okay. Well, we're not going to do that here because we already have a system, at least in the current semester. I'm just going to walk you through it, and you're going to get a sense of what the system is and what it has to do. It's kind of cheating, okay, because it's a little better organized than you would typically get. It's also cheating in the following respect. When you go out and talk to people about what they believe the requirements for the data in the system are, or when you read some kind of a write-up that's a case description, okay, you will find tons of information that's a distraction. Okay, so it's very easy to listen to what people say or to read what they've said and say, oh, it's about this, it's about that, to really go down the wrong way. Okay, we're not really going to give you that opportunity here because we're going to show you the system that we're going to build. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the existing system. All right, so let's look at it. Okay. Here we are. We're at Easy University, and we're already logged in, okay? And we're logged in as the user who can do everything. And that's all I'm going to say about authentication and authorization, okay? Anything else I'm going to say about that, I'm going to say it in my other video. So like any other system, we want an about page. Okay, and we want it to just kind of describe what the system is about. And this is going to be our landing page. Okay, and that's where we landed. Okay. So our system is really organized around the database, okay? And that makes it kind of easy for what we're trying to do. Okay, so the database holds information about record keeping that the university does associated with courses that we offer in particular semesters, okay? And a particular, so we've got, we have courses that are offered in particular semesters by particular instructors, and the combination of those three defines a section. And then we have students who register for sections. Okay, so that's what's going on. So I'm just going to walk you through each of these and we'll see what kind of data we have and what kind of functionality we need to support. So for instructors, okay, uh, here we're at the instructor list. So we need to be able to list all the instructors. Okay. Um, you can also tell from the button here that we need to be able to create a new instructor. So I'm going to click on that. Okay. And what are we keeping about the instructor? Well, we're keeping the first name and the last name. So let's add a new instructor. And let's say um, that person's name is Jose Gonzalez. Okay. I'm not sure that my spelling is appropriate for Gonzalez, but I tried. And we can add the instructor. Okay. And now we're at a detail page. And is there any other way to get to a detail page? Well, um, if we go to the instructor list, we'll see that Jose Gonzalez is on the list. So if we clicked on the link for Jose Gonzalez, it would go to Jose's instructor detail page. Okay. So the instructor detail page shows Jose's first name and last name. Okay, and it has a place for the sections that they are teaching. But in this case, we're able to tell that Jose isn't teaching any sections. So that probably means that Jose is a new instructor. Okay. We also have to be able to edit instructors. So we have a button for that. Okay, and what could we change? Well, we could change either the first name or the last name. And maybe we find out that Jose's first name is really Jose hyphen Juan. Jose Juan. No, we don't like that. So let's say his name is let's say he's decided that he's going to anglicize his first name. Okay. His legal name is Jose, but when teaching, he decided that his name is going to be Joe. Okay. So now we're going to update, and his name is Joe Gonzalez. Okay. And if we go to delete Joe, and again, how do you do that? Well, you do that through the detail page. So we're going to click on delete. Okay. And it's going to ask us if we really mean it. But because Joe is not teaching any sections, deleting him is not going to compromise the database integrity. So we can just click delete to confirm. And now Joe is gone. By contrast, if we clicked on my name, Kevin Trainer, okay, you can see that I'm teaching a lot of sections. And if we ask it delete me, it would say, I can't, you can't do that because I'm assigned to the following sections. And the expectation is, if in fact you really wanted to delete me, you would have to go to the sections first and take each of the sections that I'm teaching and edit them and assign them to a different instructor. Let's give this to my good friend Bill Qualls, and then it's only after you took all of the sections away from me that you would be able to go back and delete me. Okay? So we have instructors, okay, and they teach sections, okay, and this is a typical university course section. It is a particular course. These were courses that I used to teach up at the Milwaukee High School. Um, and uh, so if this is the name of the course. 201 is the name of the section, and this the semester is the fall of 2017. And I didn't actually teach that course in the fall of 2017. But probably this one down here, 691, 201, if we go to that, and it's called Web Development Using Application Frameworks. I actually did teach that in the fall of 2018. So this, that's that. Okay. So that's what sections are. And again, I'll go back to that section from 2018 fall. So it's for a particular course, okay? The section has a name. Now, I call it a name because in some places they're numbers, like at UWM in Milwaukee, but they're typically numbered, okay? At the iSchool, they're typically a combination of letters, okay? So I decided that that would be called section name. It's for a semester, and it's assigned to an instructor, okay? So again, let's go back to sections here. Let's say we wanted to create a new one. Then we'd have to give it a name. And let's make the name what for the current course I'm teaching here in the current semester, which is OAG OAU. First, let's add the course. So let's create a course. And this is course number 439. And it's called Web Development Using Application Frameworks. It was called the same thing at both universities. So, okay, so we have that. Okay, and we know the instructor is going to be me. Do we have all the semesters that we need? No, we don't. Okay, so the year. Oh, so I don't have a year. Okay, I don't have the year that I need. And I'm going to pause because the way I add a year is, kind of super secret special stuff. The way that I've made it work. So I don't want you to be, confused by that. So I'm going to pause here. I'll be right back. I'm going to add a 2022. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Now, one of the things that I want to point out that the components of a semester, year, and then the period, fall, spring, summer, they don't appear up here. Okay, so they were kludged into the system in a kind of informal way. Okay, so to the extent that your conceptual data model is going to require years and periods, which are the components of semester, well, you're going to have to consider them in your conceptual data model. So they don't really appear here explicitly. They appear here implicitly. Okay, so let's go to create semester. And let's say we want to add 2022 spring. Okay. And now if we go to semesters, that's there. Okay. So now I can come back to sections, and I want to say I want a new section, and the section is going to be OAG/OAU, okay, which is really two sections, but that's okay. This is how we deal. You know, this is how I refer to this as an instructor. And then the semester is going to be 2022 spring. And the course is going to be, it currently says 439. Is that what we wanted to say? Well, let's choose that, 439. And the instructor is going to be me. So let's create that section. So let's go back to courses. Is it really called 439? No, it's really called Is439. So let's go edit it. And let's call it Is439. Okay. And one of the nice things about the way this application works is if you go back to sections, okay, and you pick this section, it's called Is439 now. Okay, so this section has a relationship to course, and if you change the name of course, well, it has a relationship to the same course, which just has a prettier name. Pretty neat. Okay, so that's how you create a section. All right, now you can edit a section. Okay, and you can delete a section. Okay, now I want to delete a section, and it just asked me if I was sure. Okay, and if I said that I was going to delete it, it would actually delete it. Okay, but let's pick another section. So let's go to me. This is a very kind of relational kind of system. So wherever we show information about one of the entities in the system, instead of just putting its name, we usually put a link. So if I want to say, oh, find a section that Kevin is teaching, well, here I have a link to Kevin. So I go to Kevin, and then I find a section. Okay. And let's say it's, well, let's see what it was. Let's say it's this one here. Oh, and this has registrations, right? So for a section that has registrations, if I said I wanted to delete that, it would tell me I couldn't. Okay, because it had registrations. Now, if I got rid of the registrations by transferring them to a different section, well, then I would be able to come back here and do the delete. Okay. Whereas if I go back to the one that we just added, again, no registrations. If I want to delete, well, it deletes it. It'll just be gone. Let me do that. I go to delete it, and it's gone. All right. So there's so for instructors and courses and sections, we have add, change, and delete. Okay. Semesters, I kind of showed you that. We have the semesters that we have, but when we go to add a new semester with the create button, we pick a year Now, the years have to be picked from this available list that happens, kind of off stage. Okay. Um, it's kind of kludged into another part of Django. Okay. So, could we have included uh, year, year, and period up here? Yeah, we could have. Okay. So again, we just added spring 2022. So let's add summer 2022. And then let's go back again and let's add the fall. So let's add 2022 fall. And when we go to add these things, okay, we're we're picking from there. There actually is a year table. There actually is a period table. You can't see here how you're going to change them. It's only when we get to that part of the course that I'm going to disclose that. Okay, but now I'm going to pick the fall, and that's that. Okay, so that's in structures and sections and courses and semesters. Students, okay, let's create a new student. Okay. So we've got first name Albert Einstein. Okay. Nickname Big Al. Create student. Now, why did I give them a nickname? Well, because I could have had more than one student named Albert Einstein. I'm going to add the nickname as a disambiguator. Okay. So for a student, you can see the sections that they're registered for. Okay. Now, can you edit a student? Yes, you can. So if we maybe Albert Einstein's nickname is E for the famous E equals MC squared, or maybe he's called MC MC squared. Okay, maybe that's what he's called. All right, so that's that. Now, can I delete him? Yeah, he's not registered for any sections, so I should just be able to ask, and then it asks me to confirm, and now Albert Einstein is gone. For instance, by contrast, if we go to Franny Stagliano, she's registered for this section. Okay, so if we say we want to delete her, it's not going to allow us to do it. Okay, now we could delete the registration, and that would be fine. Then we would be able to delete Franny Stagliano. Okay, let's go to registrations. Okay, so if we want to see an existing one, let's look at that registration of Franny Stagliano. She's right there. So again, the style of this kind of database portal that we're building is typically whenever we list one of the database entities, instead of just listing their name, we have a link. And if you click on it, you can go there. Okay, so that's how we got there. And then again, here's the section. Okay, so she's now in 34201. Okay, but what if we wanted to change her section? Okay, well, we could edit the registration and we could give her another, she's in what, the fall of 2018. Let's put her right here and we can update it. Okay, and then can we delete it? Yeah, we could. Instead of deleting that, let's create a new one. Okay, so let's go to registrations, a new one. And for the section, let's pick this section that we just, oh, the section that we just added is gone. Okay, so let's do infos 110-201 in the fall of 2017. That's a long time ago. And for the student, let's add Fred Flintstone. Okay, and create the registration. So then we go right to the detail page. Okay, and if we wanted to edit it, well, then we could say, oh, that's not the course we wanted to register him for. Let's register him for this course in the fall of 2018, and we could update it. Okay. Oh, he's already taking that. How about that? Well, let's try this course. Fred Flintstone is doing a lot. Okay, so we have that. Okay, but if we want to delete that, we can simply delete it. Okay, now why can we delete this? Well, if we go to delete it, it's going to warn us. It's going to ask us if we really want to. Well, the reason why we can delete this is there's nothing pointing to it. Okay, so there are very few things in the system you can just easily delete. Okay, you can only delete things that are not related to other things. Okay, so that's how the system works. All right, and those are the parts of it. For each of these, um, for each of these database, kind of entity types that we can see here, we have full CRUD capability. In addition, implicit in this, which we don't see. We don't see a way to maintain explicitly, but we need to provide some way to maintain it. Are year and period. Okay, the period is either spring, summer, or fall. There are 3 periods. And right now, if you look at the years, well, if you go to add a semester, let's go, create a new semester, you can see that these are the years that are in the system, and these are the periods that are in the system. So the functionality for this is we need it, right? So you should include it in your conceptual data model, years and periods and how they relate to semesters. But you don't see a way to maintain them here. We do it in another kind of built-in part of Django. Okay, so the secret about how we do it is now out. Okay. All right, so that's enough of the functionality to keep you busy on coming up with your conceptual data model. So I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.